Hello everyone. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm getting really tired. I wish that there was a tier list on sounds that I could listen to while I sleep to help me drift off into the sleepy realm. Well, never fear. I made that. Alright, so let's just get right into this tier list. I'm gonna put alarm clock at F. I think that's not good for getting to sleep. Have I even explained the concept? Does this joke even make sense? It's sounds that you listen to get to sleep, right? All right, you get it. So alarm clock. I mean, that's got to go F tier, because that does the opposite. Uh, Pretty self-explanatory. Let me get a classic in here. Let me get Rain, and I think Rain might have to be A tier. Might have to be A tier because sometimes Rain is like it's delightful, you know, and sometimes it's just like really heavy rain and you can't really get to bed, and there's like a tin roof, and it's just miserable. So I'll put Rain at A tier. Another classic? I mean, this looks disgusting. I kind of want to put it in F for how it looks. But, like what are these called? Like a lotus? A praying mantis? What are these? Crickets. Yeah, I think crickets are a classic. You always hear them in, like, cartoons and stuff when it's late at night. There's not really many crickets in Australia. So, this is just kind of like a comedy pick that I know there's crickets out there somewhere. So yeah, crickets are going to be B tier. Let me put... This kind of just looks like two people... This just looks like having someone scream in your ear from each side. No, that's parents arguing. I'm gonna put that in D tier, because it's not quite as loud as an alarm clock, obviously. But your parents arguing from across the entire house. I mean, that can get pretty loud. Hard to get to sleep to. But not as bad as an alarm clock. I might just go through a couple of music picks. Okay. I think classical music, that's got to be an A. They play that to like a baby, and you put a little like stethoscope on it, and you play classical music to a baby. So I feel like it's got to be at least a little bit good. But at the same time, like, I don't know, there's like a Tchaikovsky... There's a Tchaikovsky song where it uses like actual real life artillery cannons as part of the song. And I feel like you can't really get to sleep to that. So it's very dependent on what classical music song. Let me get jazz, and I'm gonna put, this is my first S tier. This specific Spotify Jazz for Sleep album, I have constantly playing. Genuinely, I could just put it on right now and just jazz out to it. I am constantly listening to this, and it makes me sleepy just walking through the day. It gives me that disease. They're like a disease where you fall asleep during the day, and it's like debilitating. That's what this album specifically gives me. Another thing, I got Chill Wave. This is kind of like a niche pick. I hope it makes sense, but I'm gonna put Chill Wave in A. And any like ambient track, you know, any like ambient like vibes kind of track. You get what I'm saying? It's vibes. It's just vibes. It's just vibes. You get what I'm saying? Binaural beats. I mean, see, it's just kind of, I don't really care for it. I don't know, if it was like meditation music, you know, it's not that bad. It's a little bit, I mean, it is just kind of chill wave, you know, the same thing, but I feel like it's too meditatey. Oh, and another classic, give me lo-fi music. I mean, lo-fi music is a banger for, I quickly am realizing half of these are like what you can also study to. So it's just relaxing sounds. And I think this would be funnier as a like thing you can study to if there's like parents arguing. But yeah, lo-fi music, I feel like that's a good study and sleep. Let me get Ocean Waves. And Ocean Waves, I think that's a good B tier. It's not quite as relaxing as Rain, but I think it's still up there as a nice soothing tune to rest your head. You can imagine you're on a boat, maybe. You can imagine you're like a castaway on the beach. You're a castaway on the beach, and that perfectly goes to the next one of Fire. I think Crackling Fire, it's decent. You know, you could imagine you're a castaway on the beach if you put these sounds together, but I kind of feel like, I don't know, I kind of feel like if you listen to Fire on its own, you just kind of lay there and you won't know if like there's an actual fire in your house. I feel like this is a dangerous pick. And it's not just because the C section was looking really empty. but I think if you listen to fire noises and close your eyes, that's a danger. I think I'm gonna get some ambient choices. Now this looks like any old clock, but it's actually very specifically the sleeping over at your grandmother or grandfather's house. I said house. Sleeping over at your grandparents' houses? Like, it's always pitch black, and there's always this clock going on in the background, and there's always like the red light of like the like smoke detector. It's not too bad, but it's really fucking annoying after a while. And you know, on the same level, actually worse, this debilitated picture of a grandma is meant to represent staying in a hospital. I don't know if you guys have ever been in a hospital overnight, but it's probably the most miserable sleep setting possible. You already don't want to be there. You're injured or sick or miserable in some way. They're probably going to wake you up at 2 a.m. for a test that they just got back anyway. And I don't know if this is a specific thing that I've had with every single hospital I've ever been to, but every single time they put you in a bed, the guy to the right that you can't see because they're covered by a thing, he is coughing and swearing the whole time. I don't know if that is very, very specifically every single time I've been to a hospital, but there's always a guy to your right. So yeah, there's that. Let me get a classic. Let me get the fan. I think the fan's pretty good. Just the oscillating fan, the turning fan in your room, especially on a summer's day. I think the fan is good. I think the fan is some good, like, kind of electrical white noise in the background. Speaking of, I've got white noise and brown noise, or I guess that's just TV static. But yeah, anything that sounds like fuzzy, they're pretty interchangeable to me. I actually just kind of find them annoying. So they're just gonna go C tier, because I don't want to listen to like a hiss, unless it's also like cooling me down or something. Now, by special request, I was told to put in ASMR. ASMR, like having mummy speak to you.
Hey, what's wrong, love? Hey.
And I don't know about you guys, but that's not really my vibe. I don't want someone to like whisper in my ear, like, ah, yeah.
I hope you're sleeping well.
Like, I don't want that. I can't express how much I don't want that.
Oh no. Oh no!
You know what I do want instead? I want silence. I'm putting silence in S tier, above everything. Because this is kind of a bad list. Because I actually just prefer silence when I go to bed anyway. So this whole list is just a fraud. This whole list is just, if I couldn't just turn it off, what I would rather listen to. Actually, you know what? That's not true. Because something on the TV, I'm gonna put is better than silence. I don't know about you guys, but watching like a war movie and people having their limbs blown off and they're screaming somehow is very therapeutic and can get you to bed. I don't know what that says about me, but I mean, it's real. This is kind of going to be like a niche pick, and I'm not sure if people are going to understand it, but having like a strategy video game getting played in the background and just putting that video on and going to bed, I don't know, okay? Having some British or European guy talk about, oh,
supplies are low in Amsterdam. I'm gonna have to get a couple more divisions there.
We just nuked Zimbabwe. They're not gonna get a culture victory anytime soon.
like, I don't know, that's very soothing. Now, I've got one that I'm not really sure where to put. I've got audiobooks, and I think I'm gonna have to put them in C tier. Look, sometimes audiobooks are good, because you got like a soothing narrator, you've got soothing narration, and you're learning about something, and that's good. It feels like you're not wasting time getting to bed, you feel like you're learning. But at the same time, if it's something that I want to learn about, like I'm listening to a podcast about the First World War right now, and I feel like I'm going to go to sleep and it's going to be like, oh,
And the gunman got to the car and Franz Ferdinand was there.
and by the time I wake up, it's going to be like, yeah.
And that was the Battle of the Somme. And they've broken through and Germany has been taken down.
So like, I feel like that's bad, because I feel like I have to re-listen to the whole podcast after I listen to it going to sleep. Something that I will happily re-listen to every time is a lullaby from my mother. I don't know about you guys, but back in the day, the lullaby from the mother? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Tell me that isn't an OG. The lullaby from the mother. But yeah, the lullaby, I think that's got to be S tier. You know what? I'd take that over everything right now, just to hear my mother's voice. Nah, that's cringe. It's going below silence. Now, the last couple, I've just got ones that kind of just annoy me, like whale noises. I'm not trying to hear that. I don't want to hear like in my ear. That's just annoying. Another F tier. Another F tier. Having someone snore anywhere else in the house. Anywhere else in the entire house, if someone's snoring, by God, I want them slain. I want them destroyed. Like, if you snore, I want you to be put on, like, the iron lung. Alright, and that's almost it. My last pick, another F tier, is probably going to be birds. Because if I can hear birds, it's probably 6 a.m. and I've stayed up way too late and my entire sleep schedule is destroyed. Alright, well I feel like I feel like this is a pretty good list. You could shuffle things around here, but I think this is a good list. I'm just kind of staring at the poor old lady and then the ASMR mummy, and I'm just staring back at between the two of them. Alright, I think that was a pretty good list. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you know you take this advice and it helps you get to bed. You put on the specific Jazz for Sleep Spotify playlist and you put it on shuffle. But yeah, that's it. Good night.
I hope you're sleeping well.